Hey y'all, this is the Buick 455 AC job number 1. Just gonna go over real quick under hood, in the interior, just a quick overview of the whole system. This is job number 1 completed. This is a bolt-in kit. I mean, there are a few minor modifications, just like every other aftermarket air kit. You do have to make a few extra holes in the firewall and stuff like that, but starting from front to rear, the condenser mounts in the essentially the factory location, different mounts and everything like that, of course. The hard lines come up and they run essentially again where the factory stuff ran, right in this narrow void between the radiator and the core support. There's not much room under the hood of these cars. Now, when you're installing these kits, these lines are fairly flexible. They're fairly easy to bend if you need to. There just is not much room under the hood of these cars, right in this department. So, the dryer assembly is mounted right there, right above the frame, tucked into the inner fender well. See their pressure switch. Sorry if this doesn't focus quite as well as I would like it to. Nothing I can do. Those are my Sandin air compressor brackets, installed, painted flat black. Can't hardly see them, but and your alternator mounted in the factory location. You've got a little bit of room for adjustment both left and right to fit different belt sizes. Here you have the belts required. Now this kit is installed on a factory air car, so if your car is a non-air car, you're going to have to make sure that you source appropriate pulleys and stuff from a factory air setup car. This is a belt alignment. It's about as perfectly straight as you can get. The alternator belt's just slightly forward, but that's because this alternator has a fairly large pulley there that doesn't perfectly align up with spacing on that. But as far as my belt installation kit for my compressors, it's dead on straight. There will be a slight amount of adjustability on this kit with these spacers here, and if you need to move your compressor forward, you can put shims in between the bracket and the compressor here and increase the size of this shim here. I basically engineered the kit where if you needed any movement at all, it would be forward and not rearward. So there's a little bit of built-in adjustability there. All right, coming over here, your lines run straight over to the firewall here. I have not sealed the firewall holes yet because I want to make dang sure we don't have any leaks for a week or so, and then I'll seal them up. Heater core hoses run there. Like I said, this is a factory air car, so it's got a big old block off plate, goes up and seals where the old blower motor was as well. This is a steel firewall block off plate made out of some pretty thick 1/8 inch steel. Most of the kits, unless you say otherwise or want a steel one, will just be in a big aluminum plate. It's lighter. They'll be obviously aluminum colored, but basically this kit frees up a tremendous amount of space around your valve covers. Changing spark plugs are a breeze. This is your hot water valve. It shuts off your heater core so it's not hot in the summertime. The kit's not going to come with heater hoses because your car should have them already, and they're relatively easy to get at any part store that you might want to go to. It's just a quick overview of how the hoses run. You'll have to excuse the wiring on this car. Maybe it was done by whoever built the car originally. So it's there's a lot of zip ties and there's a lot of plastic wrap. But functionally everything works. So the kit fits in there pretty nice and tight. Overall, it's lower and narrower than the factory A6 compressor setup was. I've tried to make this kit as professional looking as possible, so I think it looks pretty good overall. We're gonna go do the interior next. So now we'll do the interior overview of this air conditioning kit. Really the only downside at all is that it hangs down below the dash a little, and not far. I mean, that's my fist. It's quite a ways. The box is fairly compact. It's got the evaporator core and the heater core under the dash, as opposed to the factory having the evaporator core outside the dash. It's fairly tidy installation. On a factory air car, the kit will come with everything you need to utilize your factory vents on those 3 locations. It'll also come with a probably a $10 extra cost 3rd vent that you can mount somewhere down below the dash, about where that gauge cluster is on this car. There's the head unit controls. It's the very first ones ever made for a body Buick. I'm pretty proud of that, but I haven't finished the development of the wood grain faces or the black or the silver. But what I'll probably do is, once I have those being produced, I'll probably just send a free one to whoever has already bought an air conditioning kit, so it won't be free of charge. Really flows together pretty well. I mean, it's as close to being a direct bolt-in as you can get. Go ahead and cycle it on. The car's in the shop, so I'm not going to start it. You couldn't feel the cold air anyways, so. It has lighting, which you're not going to be able to see with the big bright light in here, but simple controls. This is your on and fan speed. I don't know if you can hear it or not. It'll move some air. Then cycle the controls. You can just move it over. That'll cycle the defrost. Going up here. If you so choose, you can also move it to the floor. Blowing down the floor. The controls are nice and smooth, unlike the garbage vintage air makes. This is classic auto air. This is good stuff. Back to the dash position. Of course, you're hot and you're cold. But anyways, these kits will be on the market probably by the time you're watching this, so you can look me up on Facebook. I'm on the Buick GS owners group page and Buick Stepchild Nation. You can also look me up directly to my business at Holland's Restoration LLC, also on Facebook. I'll probably be doing PayPal payment, check, probably get into credit card eventually, but right now, not yet. These kits will be kind of I'll build them as they're ordered, so I have to pay for all this stuff and have all the kits here, and I'm not going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to stock everything just so I can send it out a day or two earlier. But anyways, works really well. Hope you all like it, and Thanks for following along.